The baseball world was left completely speechless following one of the most heartwarming and extraordinary scenes ever witnessed after a Major League Baseball game. After a fiercely competitive matchup between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Colorado Rockies, something happened in the moments following the final out that nobody could have predicted. One by one, Rockies players began approaching Shohei Ohtani with expressions of pure admiration and disbelief on their faces. What followed was a series of moments so genuine and so powerful that even the Rockies manager himself was left completely at a loss for words. The reason behind this extraordinary scene would reveal something about Shohei Ohtani that goes far beyond his legendary abilities on the baseball field. The game itself had been an intense and thrilling contest from the very first pitch. Both teams had battled fiercely throughout 9 innings with neither side willing to surrender. The Dodgers and the Rockies had traded runs, made spectacular defensive plays, and kept fans on the edge of their seats from start to finish. Ohtani himself had delivered yet another masterclass performance that left everyone in the stadium shaking their heads in disbelief. However, it was not what he did during the game that would capture the hearts of everyone present. It was what he did after the final out that would become the most talked about moment of the entire series. As the final out was recorded and the Dodgers celebrated their victory, the usual post-game routines began on both sides of the field. Players exchanged handshakes, coaches gathered their teams, and the stadium slowly began to empty. But then something completely unexpected began to unfold near the Dodgers dugout. Manager Dave Roberts revealed the shocking fact that would later dominate sports headlines worldwide. He said that after witnessing what Ohtani did in the moments following the game, he stood completely still for several seconds because he could hardly believe what he was seeing with his own eyes. What exactly did Ohtani do that left everyone so stunned? What was the certain action that caused opposing players to abandon their own team's celebration and rush toward him? Why would the Rockies manager, a seasoned baseball professional with decades of experience, be left completely speechless by something a player did after a game? What does this reveal about the true character of the man who has become the most celebrated player in all of baseball? When the answers to these questions finally emerged, they painted a picture of Shohei Ohtani that went far beyond anything his statistics or home run records could ever tell. Media personnel in the press box were greatly surprised to see what was unfolding on the field below them after the game had ended. This extraordinary scene spread not only among reporters but also captured the attention of every single person remaining in the stadium. Freddie Freeman also spoke to reporters and admitted that even he was deeply moved by what he witnessed from his teammate. Freeman said that the first thing that came to his mind when he saw what Ohtani was doing was that this was exactly why everyone who meets this man ends up becoming his fan. He was particularly struck by the naturalness and sincerity with which Ohtani performed his certain action, without any hesitation and without any awareness of the cameras capturing every moment. Many people couldn't help but feel genuinely moved when they realized what they were witnessing was not a performance for the crowd but a completely authentic expression of who Shohei Ohtani truly is as a human being. Immediately afterward, all the questions from the press were focused on Rockies manager Bud Black, who was expected to explain his reaction to what had occurred after the game. According to eyewitnesses at the scene, Black stood near the dugout entrance with a look on his face that combined surprise, admiration, and something that resembled deep respect. Unlike his usual composed post-game demeanor, this time Black appeared genuinely emotional as he processed what he had just witnessed from the opposing team's star player. Several reporters noted that Black kept shaking his head slowly as if he was still trying to fully comprehend what had happened. After the post-game ceremonies concluded, Rockies manager Bud Black directly addressed the most talked-about question regarding Ohtani's extraordinary action after the game. The Rockies manager revealed that in all his years in professional baseball as both a player and a manager, he had never seen anything quite like what Ohtani did in those moments following the final out. However, the situation that truly left him at a loss for words came when he watched his own players one by one leave the Rockies dugout and make their way toward Ohtani with expressions of pure admiration. According to reports, Black initially assumed his players were simply offering routine post-game congratulations to an opposing star. Therefore, what happened next completely changed his understanding of the impact Ohtani's certain action had on everyone who witnessed it. Black confirmed that at least 7 of his Rockies players approached Ohtani individually after the game and engaged in genuine conversations with the Japanese superstar. This is not something that happens in professional baseball after a competitive game where one team has just defeated the other. He emphasized that what drew his players to Ohtani was not his home runs or his pitching statistics but something far more personal and far more human. When asked specifically what Ohtani had done to inspire such a reaction, Black paused for a long moment before answering. He said that what Ohtani did was so simple yet so profound that it was almost impossible to put into words without it sounding inadequate. Mookie Betts revealed that after the game, he watched the entire scene unfold from the dugout steps with growing amazement. Betts said he saw Ohtani notice a young Rockies groundskeeper struggling alone to drag a heavy equipment bag across the outfield grass. When Ohtani spotted the young worker, he immediately changed direction away from his own celebrating teammates and walked directly toward the groundskeeper. Without any hesitation and without saying a word to anyone around him, Ohtani took hold of the heavy bag and helped the young groundskeeper carry it all the way to the storage area near the outfield wall. Betts revealed that it was this simple and completely unscripted act of kindness that began the extraordinary chain of events that followed. Just a few minutes after helping the groundskeeper, Ohtani noticed an elderly stadium worker who had dropped a large container of baseballs near the warning track. Once again, without any hesitation or any concern for who might be watching, Ohtani jogged over and spent several minutes helping the elderly worker collect every single baseball from the grass. To be honest, I don't think Shohei even realized that half the stadium was watching him, Betts said with an emotional smile. He wasn't doing it for attention. He never does anything for attention. He just saw someone who needed help and he helped them. That's just who he is. According to the players, it was these two spontaneous acts of genuine human kindness that caused the Rockies players to approach Ohtani one after another after the game. His teammates understood that what they were witnessing was not a calculated public relations gesture but a completely authentic expression of Ohtani's character. Standing in the outfield watching their opponent help stadium workers with heavy bags and scattered baseballs, the Rockies players felt something shift inside them. The competitive feelings of a hard-fought game melted away and were replaced by something much more powerful and much more lasting. Shortly after the scene with the stadium workers, Rockies outfielder Charlie Blackmon was the first player to approach Ohtani. According to eyewitnesses at the scene, Blackmon walked up to Ohtani with a wide smile and extended his hand. Unlike the usual brief post-game handshakes between opposing players, this conversation lasted several minutes. Blackmon was seen laughing genuinely and nodding his head repeatedly as he spoke with Ohtani through his interpreter. When reporters later asked Blackmon what he had said to Ohtani, his answer became one of the most quoted statements of the entire baseball season. "Shohei, I've become your fan," Blackmon said he told Ohtani directly. "Not because of your home runs. Not because of how you pitch. But because of who you are when you think nobody is watching. That's when you find out what a person is really made of. And what you're made of is something special." Sources close to the Dodgers say that Ohtani responded to Blackmon's words with his characteristic humility, bowing his head slightly and expressing genuine gratitude for the kind words. According to those same sources, Ohtani told Blackmon through his interpreter that he was simply doing what anyone would do when they see someone who needs help. For him, the fact that he was a famous baseball player was completely irrelevant to the basic human responsibility of helping others when the opportunity presents itself. The incident has sparked widespread admiration across the baseball community and far beyond. Former players, current stars, analysts, and fans from every corner of the sports world have taken to social media to express their deep appreciation for the kind of person Shohei Ohtani has proven himself to be. The story spread rapidly across all platforms with millions of people sharing the footage of Ohtani helping the stadium workers and the subsequent gathering of Rockies players around him after the game. After the full story emerged, manager Dave Roberts held an emotional press conference to address what his player had done. Roberts said he was deeply proud but not at all surprised because this is exactly the kind of person Ohtani has always been since the first day he joined the Dodgers organization. The Dodgers manager smiled warmly as he mentioned that Ohtani's greatness has never been limited to what he does between the white lines on a baseball field. Robert said that the most important thing about Shohei Ohtani is not his batting average or his home run total but the way he treats every single person he encounters with equal dignity and respect regardless of their status or position. As the Dodgers players gathered in the clubhouse after the extraordinary postgame scene, a deeply touching moment suddenly occurred that brought the entire team together. It is reported that Freddie Freeman gathered everyone around and pointed to where Ohtani was quietly changing at his locker, completely unaware of the massive wave of admiration that was sweeping across the baseball world because of his actions. Freeman told his teammates that this is the standard they should all aspire to. Not the home runs. Not the records. But the person you choose to be when the game is over and the cameras are supposed to have stopped rolling. The room became filled with a quiet and profound energy as every player in that clubhouse took a moment to reflect on what their teammate had shown them that evening. According to those present, Ohtani looked up from his locker with a slightly confused expression when he noticed everyone looking in his direction. When Freeman explained what was happening and how his actions had moved an entire opposing team to seek him out after the game, Ohtani simply smiled his quiet smile and shook his head modestly. Freeman said that the whole team is genuinely inspired by their teammate every single day. He also added that perhaps the greatest home run Shohei Ohtani has ever hit has nothing to do with a baseball at all. Rockies manager Bud Black concluded his press conference with words that perfectly captured the feeling shared by everyone who had witnessed the evening's extraordinary events. He said that in professional sports we spend so much time talking about statistics and championships and records that we sometimes forget what really matters. Tonight reminded all of us what really matters. And it took a baseball player helping a groundskeeper with a heavy bag to remind us of something we should never have forgotten in the first place.